if you're the Simcoe County Rovers, but what an experience for them inside BMO Field, taking on Toronto FC. Yes, 5-0 is the final here in the preliminary round of the TELUS Canadian Championship. TFC moving on. Andy Petrillo, Gareth Wheeler, and Jordan Wilson with you. All the talk was of the upset. We all knew that it was a far-reaching, but you know what? We're still going to love talking about an upset, the possibility of an upset. But Toronto FC taking care of business here. So here's the updated bracket. Last night, Cavalry defeated Vancouver 1-0. They move on. Now they face Vancouver Whitecaps, the defending Canadian champions. Toronto will await their opponent between Halifax Wanderers and CS St. Laurent Wanderers. CPL side, St. Laurent, the winners of League One Quebec. What did you make of this one?
First off, let's talk about the team that won the game. Toronto FC continue to grow as a group, playing to their identity, playing to a new formation. We're now 10 games in under John Herdman, and he can see the identity that this team wants to play. I think they've been connected. I think they're tidying things up. And I think some players took their chances tonight as well. So overall, as John Herdman said pre-match, job done. They're looking to move on in this competition, and this is a priority to go on to win the Canadian Premier League. So mission accomplished here tonight.
Well, and someone who's been a part of this organization for many, many years, we call him Captain Toronto FC, obviously represents this country as well at the national level, and has been given the armband by John Herdman, is Jonathan Osorio, our Gatorade performer of the match. Let's welcome Oso to the show right now, who gets a goal here tonight. Congratulations on the win, Jonathan. It's great to see you. And you know, obviously this is the preliminary round. You still have quarterfinals and semis to go through. But what would it mean for Toronto FC to hoist that Voyageurs Cup once again?
Yeah, of course, it means a lot. This competition means a lot to us. I think we have the most since, I forget the year, but we have the most Voyageur Cups in the history of the competition. So I guess that's dating back to when the three MLS teams were competing in it. But yeah, it's important to us, and this is a good first step. We know it's a long road ahead, and now we're looking forward to the next round.
Jonathan, Andy called you Mr. Toronto FC. You're Mr. Canadian Championship as well. You've won the George Gross Memorial Trophy before. You are the leading goal scorer in this competition as well. What does the Canadian Championship mean to you? And when you see young players like the ones that you were playing tonight, they want to be in a position that Jonathan Osorio is someday. I mean, there's legacy here, isn't there? And there's connection between the players.
Yeah, I think it's great, first of all, that a League One team, you know, is able to come into BMO Field and feel the atmosphere and feel the intensity of the level, of this level. And, you know, there's a lot of young players on that team that, you know, of course I wish the best. And this is a great first step for them, you know, feeling this level of competition. So I think it's great for everybody all around. It's great for the Simcoe fans that turned up, which I think is amazing. And yeah, I wish their club the best going forward. And yeah, it's great for the competition.
Also, great first half. Good to see you. I still haven't forgiven you for beating Our Lady of Mount Carmel in the ROPSA finals for Edmund Campion. But hey, whatever. That's like 20 years ago, but it still hurts me. I ended up going to prom, so thank you for that. Also supposed to be prom. Anyways, I say this. How do you feel about being a captain for your boyhood club and just the season so far?
Yeah, it's an honor. It's a huge honor. I think, you know, it's my first go at it, and so I'm learning still. I'm learning how to be the best captain for this club, for this team, and yeah, I'm just embracing it. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a good start so far. I think with the win last weekend, we're back on track. I think we have a big game this weekend, and it's a long road ahead. It's a long road ahead. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna do things right. I'm gonna improve and learn on the way. And honestly, I'm just enjoying it. And it's not just me. It's, you know, it's the people here that I'm working with, everybody here at the club, the leadership group, the staff. So I'm getting a lot of help, and I'm just enjoying it.
Well, also congratulations once again on the win tonight, getting the goal and moving on to the quarterfinals of the Canadian Championship. Appreciate you taking the time.
All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Like a true pro, maintained composure, even though Bernardeschi tried to rip off the headset, kept going on that one. But yeah, Jonathan Osorio had already entered this competition as the all-time leading goal scorer with 7. When he gets one here tonight, that increases to 8. So even when we had Daniil Henry on in the pregame show, and I asked Daniil, I'm like, you've been part of this competition when there were 3 teams, 4 teams. Oso has seen this grow exponentially, and he just said it. Like, I've seen it when it's just been the MLS clubs. Then you obviously got USL clubs in there, and now here we are with CPL and League Ones.
You know what the thing about that list? Some really good names on it. Some good names are right there knocking on the door as well. But a Canadian is top of that means a lot. I think that, all young Canadian players, you want to do well in this competition. And in fact, he's been the best player for the longest period of time playing for the Voyageurs.
Yeah, I'm sure if you ask him to, he probably thinks of himself as that 20-year-old who just started playing for TFC, right? Like, that feels like yesterday for him. But he's seen the test of time. Players have come through, Brampton boy. He's seen it all, this guy.
And he saw 5 goals. He was part of them here tonight. Let's go through them. Let's see this first one right here. Toronto FC opening it up. We're just going to go through all 5 here, with 4 of them coming inside the first 45.
Yeah, they got through the first 15 minutes okay, but the waves of pressure, this was a problem area for Simcoe County all night, dealing with wide areas. Kobe Franklin, Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy just had so much time and space on the ball. And when TFC started to win those 50-50 battles, boom, Kobe Franklin had multiple assists tonight from that right-hand side, just hanging out in an attacking area. And Prince Owusu continues to score. That's 4 goals in the last 3 games.
Yeah, Wheels, I think when you lose by such a margin that Simcoe County has lost tonight, you have to think, what was the commonality, what was the theme? And for me, it's being in a position, but not being in a position to engage. Yes, you were defending, but were you defending close enough? And you see on all these goals, this is the theme. I thought that Atunji did an amazing job of making saves, but at the end of the day, if you don't look at this header by long, if you don't get close enough to put a body on someone, a team like TFC will hurt you.
Yeah, that was it. They were just overpowered. They looked a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Jordan, and of course, it's their first game of the year, maybe a little bit of sharpness, the magnitude of the occasion, the speed and the shape that Toronto FC played. Here's Osorio's goal right there, but Owusu, someone just needed to put a body on him. Like he is the number 9, and he's camping out all alone, and 2 center backs are just playing in the middle of the park. They're not playing a player. You simply need to play a player in those moments as well. And the game just kind of got away from them, really. A couple giveaways. This is another one in the middle of the park, just a little bit too slow to react. And look, Kobe Franklin, again, like last year, he was a much more reserved fullback. Now he's being asked to play wing back here. And look the part tonight. Like, it's funny with this Toronto FC team, the way that you see the movement as Spicer gets another goal. Like, if it's not Franklin going out, it's Kosi Thompson, it's Sigurd Rosted. Like, the right and left center backs are getting forward. They're underlapping. They're overlapping. There's all kinds of movement, which is basically what they want in their attack. And it's very difficult for a team like Simcoe County to deal with it.
Yeah, they're not used to that. It's very unusual, but it's also the Herdman brand.
Yes.
Like you mentioned at halftime as well. And you can see players are really buying into it. But you look at someone like Franklin tonight, just picking out passes. He had the time to do that and to execute. And then Owusu, he just comes with the power and the precision.
Franklin hasn't been getting a lot of burn this year, Andy, but like speaking to Terry Dunfield and other members of the TFC coaching staff last year, they loved the way that he played. Like, they love his profile, his commitment. So it's good to see him out there getting a little bit more time and showing John Herdman that I can play multiple positions for you and play multiple ways.
Love the energy he brings.
Yes.
I'd love to see the stats after this game when it comes to just ground covered by players. Normally that always belongs to a field player, but I have a feeling that Remy Olatunji, the goalkeeper for Simcoe, the way he was going back and forth in his own area, in his own box, the way he was going forward, the way he was jumping up in the air, I wouldn't be surprised if he leads those stats. 10 saves. Yes, the scoreline, 5-0. Yes, 5 went past him. But I think one thing we were really dissecting, especially in that first half, he wasn't getting a lot of help defensively. But this is a goalkeeper who was just all over the place tonight.
Yeah, you want to be on your best behavior, and he was. He showed that he has a quality. I think, obviously, he could exceed the League One level. This is not just from me watching tonight, but knowing him also having a stint, maybe not playing games in the Canadian Premier League, but being on the bench. But he's an athletic goalkeeper. Made his presence big. But also another thing, Wheels, that needs to be mentioned is you could hear him.
Yeah.
I love playing with keepers that as soon as the ball's in the box, they're saying away or they're calling their name, they're coming for it. When they punch it, it's with authority. So yes, there were 5 past him tonight, Andy. But I think for a debut or an appearance in the Can Champs, he did it superb.
What goal could he have saved of the bunch?
Yeah.
I thought the goalkeeper was excellent. TFC had 36 shots tonight.
Yeah.
36, 10 saves. Yeah. Like, look, this is a player that was brought into the Toronto FC Academy, was with Forge for a short period of time. I think the Canadian Premier League, there's a real opportunity for good young goalkeepers to get a look in this league. I think it's a position where there could be more competition, and that's a goalkeeper based upon tonight's performance. Mm-hmm. That can turn heads. That can maybe can create opportunity if he wants that to go on and take a step to the next level.
Growing, that's for sure. And I was told to make a point. That was John Conway who brought him into the Toronto FC.
There you
Academy.
go.
I'm not going to say who told me that was a
good eye for
thing.
goalkeeping.
All right, let's take a look about how about
and life partners.
You're so smooth. Other end of the field, what about those chances for Simcoe?
Yeah, in attacking perspective, like if you're going to watch and follow along, and I encourage that you do, League One Ontario, League One BC, or wherever you're watching this season, this team has some real attacking talent, good individual work. I want to see, because this is a brand new coach as well. Jason Beckford left the team last year, but I think there's some really intriguing pieces going forward. Benitez looked good on the ball. Lane is big, strong character going forward. I love the substitutes that they brought into the game really added something to the occasion as well. Disappointing, like they were full value to get a goal on this night. It didn't fall their way. So there's really something to build on from an attacking perspective at the very least.
Yeah, strong team going forward. Obviously, we don't need to belabor the point, and defensively maybe there are some deficiencies today playing against such a strong TFC attack. But you can see why they're here, and they're one of the best teams in League One. Just because even here, with George coming off the bench and making a difference, former York United player. But there are these moments where you can see that they beat other opposition teams in the League One, and you can see that some of these players as well can maybe make that CPL jump.
Let alone the play, and these individuals have a lot to be proud of tonight, and their families will celebrate that as well. My biggest takeaway from the night, a League One team from Barrie, Ontario, of 150,000 people, brought 2,000 fans to BMO Field. Like, growing up in the Greater Toronto Area, I never looked at Barrie as being some hotbed for football. Like, honestly, it was just down really more tightly, kind of tightly around the Toronto area. The fact that they have that sort of community outreach, it was Rovers Day in the city of Barrie today. The mayor, the MPP, like, they're all on board with this project. That is a huge takeaway about how this model can be replicated across this country. Believe this is a good story. It's a great story in Canadian football. And if more communities think that they can kind of replicate what they put together, like, get on this. We need good people doing good things, and that's what's being brought forward here.
And then over your beautiful shoulder here, Wheels, this is 2021. Look what happens when you have passion, people that come together, love this game, really put their best foot forward. Look at this. Like, in awesome. 3 years' time, it's a beautiful story.
And they're all kitted up. They're all wearing, like,
it's great.
You have to start somewhere. I mean, last year was the first time that we saw a League One side even go up against an MLS side. That, of course, was Vaughan Osorio taking on CF Montreal. And now here we're seeing Simcoe County Rovers going up against Toronto FC. It starts somewhere. And it's starting here in the Canadian Championship. Atiba Hutchinson, we showed you that quote in the pregame show. He says, this is what it's all about. This is why your national title matters. Of course, there's going to be a learning curve. Of course, there's going to be a gap between these types of teams. But you know what? The experience and the exposure and the fan base getting behind their team and believing is what matters. Your full-time stats, 5-0, the final here. But how about that? You said 36 shots. 15 on target, so 10 saves by Olatunji. He was busy here tonight. So Toronto does move on to the quarterfinals. They await their opponent between Halifax and St. Laurent. So the first 2 games in the 2024 TELUS Canadian Championship are in the books. Next week, we have 4 more in the preliminary round. Let's look ahead to some of those next here on One Soccer.
Toyota's electrified vehicles are for everyone. Every chauffeur, snack connoisseur, every scenery soaker, practical joker, every road tripper, toe dipper, every 9-to-5er, every long driver. Starting over 20 years ago with the Prius, we now have the largest lineup of electrified vehicles in Canada because this journey belongs to everyone.
Do we really have any choice at all?
Everyone has a choice, and every choice has a consequence.
Which do you choose?
Life's full of tough choices, isn't it?
How do you choose?
From the edge of your seat or up on your feet, let them hear you cheer.
We'll be back at it next week with Canadian Championship action. There are 3 games on May 1st for York United, Atletico Ottawa, Valor, Pacific taking on TSS Rovers, who were the story last year, and Halifax Wanderers taking on St. Laurent on May 2nd. Which one catches your eye, Wheels?
Well, I have 2. Can I pick 2?
Go
Is
ahead.
that okay?
Yeah, you can do
because
that.
it's bracket-based. Winner of Halifax St. Laurent play Toronto FC. The winner of Forge and York go on to play CF Montreal. There's the one side of the bracket where one of the 4 teams will make it all the way to the semifinals. It's Atletico Ottawa and Valor, and it's Pacific and TSS Rovers. No MLS side is in their way to making to the top 4. That's going to be an all-out battle. There is something significant. Like, look, Atletico Ottawa, the it team of the offseason, the Canadian Premier League, based on who they brought in, still early in the season. They're still gelling. There's an opportunity for another team that looks brand new, Valor, to go make some noise. And Pacific playing another local team, BC style, TSS Rovers that upset Valor last year. Those 4 teams, they got to be looking at the bracket saying there is opportunity here. We got to step up and take it.
If you're not hungry now in that bracket, when will you be hungry? That is the time. That is delicious.
Opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to CS St. Laurent against Halifax Wanderers. Don't roll your eyes, Andy Petrillo. Don't worry about the French in me. But I think that there's something for it. And I think it would be a nice story. I'm not saying Halifax Wanderers are going to lose, but if Toronto FC that we just saw play a League One team and they go play a League One Quebec team as well, if CS St. Laurent beat
Back-to-back
Halifax
League
Wanderers,
Ones?
just back and then another one again. I just think they're great games next week, and I'm tuning into all of them. I think we'll be here for all of them. So I'm excited.
And the stakes are even that much more high because in the quarterfinal round, there's home and away. So it's not just a one game.
2 leg is huge.
You get a home game against whoever you play. So that's a nice addition to the competition that I really like. So the home crowd get the experience of a Canadian Championship game, potentially against a big dog as well.
I hope you don't think we're going to be here next week because you are on the schedule, so you have to be sitting
I
right
think.
there.
Yeah, tomorrow's not promised. I said I think.
We're all day to day.
Yeah, you don't talk to me about next week. I'm here now.
Are we dealing with some injuries now? Is that what it is?
I'm like,
Okay.
don't show up to work.
All right. Well, hopefully then everyone's going to be healthy for these teams next week because we're looking forward to covering them. The TELUS Canadian Championship 2024, second year in a row, 14 teams. But already with the preliminary round, it is a single elimination game. So we've already seen now Vancouver FC And now Simcoe County Rovers be eliminated. So 4 more games in the preliminary round next week right here on One Soccer. Jordan will be here.
I will.
Wheels will be here.
Wheels up.
And I will be here with bells on. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. On behalf of everyone here at One Soccer. Yep, bells and everything. See you next week.
To play. It's something that's in us from the very beginning.